We're about to get into the first host of GSL, Paul Hornung, nicknamed the Golden Boy.
That's right. Hornung hosted the show for 3 years and interviewed some of the greatest athletes of the 20th century, including Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Oscar Robertson, Jerry DeLogo West, Bart Starr, and many more.
Many more, but Hornung himself was profiled on GSL and interviewed by one of the greatest broadcasting legends of all time, Howard Cosell. Here's what Cosell had to say about the career of the Golden Boy.
I guess as a human being, Paul will never really change. But as a football player, I think he should be remembered the way his coach, Vincent T. Lombardi, put it in his classic book, Run to Daylight. Between the 20-yard lines, Vince wrote, he was never more than an ordinary player. But once inside the 20, he became the greatest football player I have ever seen. He smelled the goal line.
All right, I know we're not here to talk about Howard Cosell, but
Right.
Man, are you kidding? How great was he?
Look, the way he modulates his voice is epic and mesmerizing.
No doubt about it. All right, but getting back to Hornung, he was one of the NFL's best players. In fact, 1961, the NFL MVP, also known as a fun-loving ladies' man. But in 1962, he got in a little bit of trouble for betting on league games and associating with gamblers or known hoodlums. Here's what Paul Hornung had to say about that when he sat down with Howard Cosell.
April 17, 1963. Pete Rozelle announces Paul Hornung, along with Alex Karras, suspended indefinitely for gambling improprieties.
That year, I had talked to Coach Lombardi about it many, many times after that, and he reassured me. He said, Paul, keep your nose clean for a year. Stay away from the Derby and the horses, and I know you'd like to go to the races. Please do me one favor. When year's up, when they will review your case next year, there's a good possibility that you will be reinstated, and that's actually what I wanted more than anything in life. And I did lead a exemplary life for that 1 year.
So let's put this in some perspective, right? Hornung bet on games. Pete Rozelle suspends him for a year. Is that warranted?
Yeah, I think if you put it into the context of what was happening in sports back then, it really was. Because, you know, everybody, the commissioners were really wary about allowing gamblers into their sports. They remember the Black Sox. So when Pete Rozelle got a whiff that maybe that's what was happening, he nipped it in the bud. And I think at that point, he did exactly what he did. 1 year ban, remember, one
Right.
year, and then he was back. I think it was fair.
I think context is everything to this because our friend Pete Rose, his mea culpas didn't exactly ring true. Paul Hornung, though, on the other hand, knew exactly the right things and the way to say them.
I knew earlier, in January and February, that I was going to be suspended. I knew some action was going to be taken by Commissioner Rozelle, and I felt that, you know, he had every right to do what he did. Howard, I learned one great thing. It wasn't the danger of myself. I could afford betting $300 or $400 on football. The danger of it is if somebody who can afford it gets hooked in betting and who gets hooked with the gamblers, maybe they will ask them to throw a football game. That is very, very dangerous.
Question, do you think that would happen to a player today?
For betting a couple $100 on a game, yeah, I don't even think that becomes a news story nowadays. I mean, you think about how much these players are making over the NFL or Major League Baseball or what have you. A couple $100 bet on a game, certainly not enough to have anyone influence the outcome of a game to throw any of the action. So, yeah, I'm not even sure it becomes a blip on the radar nowadays.
No, I mean, to be honest, they'd have to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That amount of money?
Yeah.
Like, that's tip money. That's its pocket change, petty cash for multi-millionaires.
Agreed, yes.
Now, think about this, though. Hornung, Karras, both got reinstated. Now, Hornung makes it into the Hall of Fame back in '86, unlike Pete Rose. But here's the crazy part about it. Two guys both committed the same crime. One gets banned for life, the other only for a year.